right dead center in front of two of the bird feeders. So for half the show, it looked like there were birds just dancing in your hair.
Like I'm a Disney princess?
Yeah.
Get into it.
And I was like, this was hilarious. But you couldn't see the bird feeders. So it just looked like the birds were in your hair.
I can sit here and just let the birds dance around me. Dance. Oh, look at that beautiful thing. I thought that was a downy woodpecker, but apparently I was wrong. I looked it up in a bird. I looked it up in a book. It's not.
Honey, how many dates have I said
you see
that
fight?
on?
They had a fight. You
yeah,
see that?
the big black one.
But that is a kind of woodpecker, though.
Why she got to be black?
Why that pecker gotta be wood?
Exactly. How many dates have I said that on? Honey, I thought that was a frosty woodpecker.
A downy woodpecker.
Frosty Downy.
Frosty woodpecker.
I thought it was a frosty woodpecker.
Bitch, who you sleeping with in the tundra? Hello, Booby.
Hi, baby.
People get
Booby.
pissy when we don't say hello, Booby.
Hello, my love.
Hello, darling.
Did you get some sustenance in?
Yes, I had a Jamaican beef patty.
Oh my God, I love Jamaican beef patties.
She's my
They sell
favorite
them in
drag
Costco
queen.
by the box.
Do you microwave or do you bake?
Microwave for 2 minutes and it comes out fabulous.
I like to bake them, but in a pinch you can microwave them.
Yeah.
Aren't they a little spicy?
Way
y'all?
spicy, but I take Nexium now. You know, I've had bad heartburn for 2 years, every day of my life, and I didn't even think that Nexium was an option. And
See, this is the kind of content that the kids are tuning in for.
Yeah, no.
They want to hear about heartburn medication.
For years.
No, but Boo, I know that you have had a bad tummy often. So I'm happy that you found relief. I genuinely am.
Fabulous. I can eat anything.
My stomach is also going a little screwy of late as well.
Do you know what I've been eating and really, really loving it? I don't know if I mentioned this before. Grits. Do you know what grits are?
I love grits.
Yeah. I make farina.
Yeah.
Grits
That's very Latino. Farina's very Latino.
Farina. I'm going to name my first child Farina.
For real, though.
Farina for real, though.
What? That's going to be her name. Have you met my girl, Farina for real, though?
Yeah. She for real, though.
Farina was one of the Little Rascals. Wasn't there a Little Rascal named
very
Farina?
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
It was pre-buckwheat. Am I right?
Exactly.
Farina, wasn't that the girlfriend of Buckwheat?
No, it was a little boy, but he had little braids.
And so, but she got usurped by buckwheat.
Right.
Oh, Farina for real.
And how?
Anne Hathaway.
Don't drink the milk. Why?
Spoiled.
It's spoiled.
Do you know what I want to mention before I forget it? Oh, no, I can't mention it because you guys didn't see it. Never mind.
What? The Voyager thing?
The reunion?
Yes, there was something so amazing in it.
I'm going to watch it tonight.
I can't. I can't go on. We'll talk about it another day. So, welcome to HOMEWERQ. I am Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
And this is Booby.
It sure enough is. And I am in the great outdoors. And because this chair rocks back and forth, I feel compelled to do it, and I can't stop.
I'm a little bit far away from the mic. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm like, if you don't want to talk at all, that's fine too.
Look.
So
Mary.
listen, anyway,
Honey.
how are you guys? Fantastic.
Boo?
I'm fabulous.
Are you fabulous?
I got
Why
to
are
the
you
gym
fabulous?
yesterday for the first time in 3 months.
Oh, hey.
Were there a lot of people there, and were they social distancing?
Everybody was social distancing. There were 20 people in the gym. 5 people were wearing masks, including myself.
Yeah.
But it's got to be hard to work out with a mask on.
It is. I mean, I didn't work out. I did cardio. So after 15 minutes, you're soaking wet, which I was. But still, I kept that mask on. I was like, I'm not taking this mask off.
Good for you.
Especially in the gym, because people are working out, they're breathing
Heavily.
and you're going to get more of that aerosol spray.
Exactly.
That is dangerous. The other day, I'm well, guys. I'm very well. My hair is the longest it's been in 20 years.
Wow.
It's unruly. It's long. Well, actually, it was unruly.
It looks fine.
Then I relaxed it.
When are you going to the barbershop?
Lovely. Barbershops in New York don't open until phase 3. We haven't reached phase 1. Phase 1 starts on Monday.
Wow. What's included in phase 1?
Phase 1 is curbside
Hookups.
curbside delivery of food and eating outside.
I still think that
Um,
curbside hookups is a better idea.
but I know that
Always.
like
Like
I know that
drive-by blowjobs.
because then you could get more done.
I know.
But I know that phase 3 is hair cutters and hotels. I'm hotels.
Gotcha.
Are you going back to
So
work, girl?
my boss called me.
What'd she call you?
She
Trash?
more than once.
Speaking of buckwheat, there's some crazy shit going up in here, and because it's so out of control and also it's getting hot, I think I might just shave my head, like maybe later today.
Well,
Wow.
as you two girls know, I was getting the George Jefferson, and I was getting like very full, but then my asthma was acting up, so I was like George and Wheezy. It's just not cool. And then so I relaxed it, and now like you look cute and shit. Like I'm kind of living for it. I really am.
Yeah.
Just my little story about social distancing. I went to go see our sister, Miss Robert, my daughter, my number one daughter, who I love. And we hadn't seen each other in about 3 months, and we went out for a social distancing lunch. We walked from his house 20 blocks to our favorite restaurant, which is across the street from Washington Square Park. And we are both men in our 50s who have underlying
That
issues.
is a lie.
And so
That's a
were
lie.
we were
No,
both
no,
wearing
I'm not going to let
masks.
that stand. You are not in your
60s?
50s.
50s.
You know you are not in your 50s.
72.
Girl.
Do you swear on Kate Mulgrew's life that you're in your 50s?
Yes.
Do you swear on your mother's life you're in your 50s?
So I am the mother of this house, so yes.
Okay. Continue on with your bullshit story. And by the way, it's
Girl.
Tompkins Square Park, not Washington Square. Continue.
That's right. It's Tompkins Square Park. This one just feels that like if I tell my true age, that somehow makes her older.
You're not telling your true age, darling.
So anyway,
You're not telling your true age.
We walked
But hold
down.
up, Miss Booby, are you in your 50s? Be honest.
Not yet.
Not yet. Is she in her 50s?
Probably.
Let's move along.
Miss Thing, are you in your 50s?
Nope.
You are such a liar.
Girl, you know I just turned 37. Shut the fuck up.
Oh my God. Anyway,
How dare you?
Oh,
Miss Thing,
honey.
I was born in 1981 and you know it.
So, honey, 1881.
Whatever, girl. I don't want to get into it, bitch. But I'm 37. I'm 37. I'm
you
37.
do not want to get. You don't want it. You don't want to get.
You are
into
not
it.
in your 50s, girl. If you were in
Honey.
your 50s, I would applaud you, girl, because you look reasonably intact. But, girl, you're not in your 50s. You're not in your 50s. And I'm 37, and I'll say it loud and proud, okay? Say it.
So me
I'm
and
37.
So me and my daughter Robert walked
Right.
The
downtown.
lies, the lies.
And so we are wearing masks. I have my mask on. He has his mask on.
While you're walking down the street.
While we're walking down, because
Really?
we're standing right next to each other.
Right.
Now, when we got down to the park, we ordered from our favorite place, and we went across the street. We ate in the park. We sat 10 feet apart, and we took our masks off. But
Right.
since we were walking right next to each other, we were wearing our masks.
Right.
I'll insert a picture of Miss Robert here if you like. Miss Robert is fit and handsome and beautiful, and he was doing just fine. Meanwhile, I'm fat and old. I'm wearing this mask, sweating.
Gasping.
And like I tried to like dress very light. I was wearing like a little rainbow tube top, some cooch cutters in my jellies, and I was trying to keep it very like summer. Girl, I'm sweating like a whore in church. And like I can't breathe, and I can smell your breath. You can start to smell your breath, and it was tough. And then I have a thing where I've got to pee every 10 minutes, and no, you can't use public bathrooms anymore. They don't exist. There's no restaurants. They won't let you use them. There's no bars. They won't let you use them.
Any bushes?
And so by the time we were done with lunch, we took off our masks. By the time we were done with lunch, I had to pee so bad. I was like, Robert, it's good to see you, but I got to go back to Brooklyn and use the bathroom. He's like, come back to my house and use the bathroom. I'm like, no, I don't want to contaminate your place. And he was like, honey, you did that 20 years ago.
Okay.
So I go and I use his bathroom, thank goodness, but we walk back uptown wearing masks. And yo, bro, like, it was tough, man.
How did you eat with the mask? Did you lift the mask up
No.
and like?
In the park, we sat 10 feet away from each other, and we took off our
the
masks.
Oh,
And
okay.
we ate, and we were able to talk, and that was actually really great.
Because when you texted me that you guys were doing that, I was gonna be like, "How are you eating with the mask on?" But I was like,
No.
"I'll ask you later."
I'm being extra careful
Yes.
with Miss Rob, because I love her so
Oh,
much.
Hummingbirds on the other side, though. Well,
Oh,
speaking of fitness and things, a friend of mine that's up here has an elliptical machine in his house. By the way, he's never used it. So I drove there yesterday, and I'm like, I'm gonna use that shit. I got on that
Not
elliptical
the
machine.
elliptical, the friend.
No, he's not around. He's out of town.
Okay.
I used him plenty, and I made it through about 8 minutes, like 2 songs. I listened to Savage, Megan Thee Stallion, and Beyonce, and
The
I listened
Beyonce
to that.
remix?
Yes, and I listened to
Okay.
Problem, Ariana Grande with Iggy Azalea. And by the time those 2 songs were over, I was so winded and my legs were hurting so bad. And I was,
really?
yeah, and I was like,
You need to build it up.
yeah,
You
well,
need to
God,
build it
I
up.
haven't been doing anything for months. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, ay, ay, ay. Yeah, I was suffering.
You told me once a long time ago, and and it's true, that there's no such thing as spot reduction.
Nope.
So like you can't like work out for 45 minutes and think anything's going to happen. Like you have to work out steady, and then you start to
Consistently.
lose weight slowly.
No,
Right.
spot reduction is about
Let me get rid of the
losing.
tummy.
Right.
Let me get
It
rid of
doesn't work
yeah,
like that.
It
It's
doesn't
not.
work like that.
It's that you'll lose it evenly all over if
Yeah.
you're losing fat. It's not like
Yeah.
you're going to lose fat in one spot. I mean, because think about it. What if you lost fat in the wrong spot? You wouldn't be happy with that either. You know,
You have to
So-
like, if you want to lose fat in your gut, you're going to do cardio. So you're going to lose all over the place. And then you're going to do abs. So,
no, darling, no, you're going to do lipo. Come on.
yeah, as well.
Come on. Listen,
That's a real thing, right? That they can take the fat from your stomach and put it in your booty.
Of course.
they can put it in your booty. They can put it in your face. But the thing is, in your face, sometimes it doesn't really take. All of it doesn't really take.
And just
So
gets absorbed.
You can get any of it can get reabsorbed, but especially in your face because it's a different kind of fat. It's a different kind of
Yeah.
fat. I would try it.
I would try it in the booty.
I would
'cause
try it.
Shoot.
I would do
God-
it.
Listen, God knew what he was doing, that he didn't give me a fly ass, because I've gotten it into enough problems already without it being fly.
Another one who's babooned.
Trust.
Mhm.
Meaning that my ass is like this big giant red.
You're an estrus, darling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big
So-
jelly donut, just exploded.
Illusion.
But Rob sends
Wait a
his
minute.
regards to the both of you, by the way, and sends
Oh,
his
Miss
love.
Rob. Mwah, I
Oh.
miss Rob. I
Yeah,
really
love
miss
Rob.
Rob.
Oh.
What a dear heart Rob is.
My
Did
baby.
we kick this episode off?
No,
I have no idea. I
No.
actually have no idea.
we have not.
Well, why don't you do it, babe?
Hey kids, welcome to yet another
Come on in.
edition of Homework. Come on in. I'm Miss
Yes.
Matinga.
I am Mike Diamond.
I think we did do this, but I'm Booby.
Maybe we
Yes.
did.
I
But we
don't
also
think we did.
I don't think we did either. This is Homework Homeschooled. It's a homeschooled edition.
Homeschooled
Yes.
edition.
Yes. I don't know if we did or not, but viewers, before we taped this, we did an episode of our Fire Chicote podcast. So we're all kinds of confused right now.
Yeah. There's
And
a
also-
big bush behind you.
Thank you, darling. I'm not into manscaping. Oh,
It's
that
probably been 4
No,
months since
that's
the
you
it.
other
did.
and the other
That one?
yeah.
that I think was a bridal wreath spirea. That's a forsythia.
Wow.
I'm coming to you from S Fox Studios. My girl S Fox. She's around here somewhere. It was a nice day. I decided to be outside. She has all these bird feeders, as you can see. There's some amazing birds.
It's beautiful.
It looks like The Secret of Nim. Do
Yeah.
you know what that
I love The
is?
Secret. That movie scared me.
It did for me too.
Also,
Those
Watership,
bushes look like where the rats live.
and Watership Down was rough.
Great
It
one,
was
and they
very
redid
rough.
it now in computer animation. It looks
Watership
fabulous.
Down
Oh,
is a
I thought
straight
they-
up nightmare.
Is a
Yeah.
straight up night.
I showed it to the kids that I was, help raise,
Mhm.
and they were gasping at the bloody scenes with the dog and the rabbits.
Yep.
Well, and there's a vicious cat in it. Can you
Yeah,
run?
Can
I
you
think
run?
not.
And also not scary, but equally as good. I think for me the best one, Ricky Tikki Tavi.
With the mongoose.
I
With the
love
mongoose.
Ricky
and that
Tikki Tavi.
privileged British family.
Yeah, and Ricky Tikki Tavi, being like that giant boa constrictor in the yard, always trying to kill him.
Naga.
Miss Naga girl.
Right. I'm like, Naga, please.
If there is Naga, please. Oh, we're gonna make that happen.
Oh, we just made it happen.
Hashtag Naga,
Naga,
please.
please. Mhm.
But if there is a plant called Forsythia,
Yeah.
could there be a drag queen named Forsythia?
Interestingly enough, I know someone in horticulture who does pronounce it that way. and I've never had the heart to correct her
Or
because
Cynthia.
For
for Cynthia, I've never had the heart to correct her because what's the point? That's the way
Yeah.
she wants to say it. Also, Botanical Latin is not technically a real language, and I mean it is, but there aren't any native Latin speakers in existence, and hasn't been for a long time. So nobody actually knows the correct
Pronunciation.
pronunciation.
So are you
We're
saying
just bringing it.
Latin is a dead language? Like Latin, not like Spanish.
It's in
or like
use.
Latin.
I mean, it's in use. It's in use, but no one knows the exact pronunciation because who's to say? All those people
Right.
that actually spoke it are long gone.
But also then what's wouldn't that also go for something like Sanskrit?
Well, Sanskrit, I don't think there was ever a time when people that spoke Sanskrit went out of existence.
Right.
There's been a continuing, so
Like
the
ancient
knowledge of that.
Sumerian, that's gone.
The Sumerians,
Sumerians.
yeah. Don't nobody see that house?
The
You know what?
Sumeria.
I want to
Sumer-
segue
House
for
of
one
Sumerian.
second. I want to segue for 1 second. A viewer asked us, a viewer named Rhett, who is also a new patron, which I've got to tell you guys about. Hello, Rhett,
Thank
and
you,
thank
Rhett.
you. Thank you, Rhett.
Work, Rhett.
We've been having a little conversation, and he asked me yesterday if any of us had watched Legendary on HBO and what we thought. And I have watched the first 2 episodes, and I told Rhett, and I say it now, I think it's really silly, and I'm completely entertained.
Yeah.
It's Booby. Did you see it?
I saw it and it was a. You want my honest opinion?
Yes, we do. And why don't you tell the viewers what is Legendary, and then give us your opinion?
What is legendary? I am legendary.
That's right.
Lies, the lies.
That's right.
Legendary is a show on HBO that shows 9 different houses, voguing houses, competing in competitions with these bogus judges, and
Megan the Stallion.
and
Or
some,
Doja Cat, somebody like that.
Anyway,
It's
what-
Megan
what-
the Stallion. It's Laomi,
Naomi,
Laomi,
who's
who
a
I
legend.
respect, she's a legend.
She's a
Jamila
legend.
Jamil, and Law Roach.
Yeah.
No, and then the other dude who's a voguer, he does femme. The kids love
MC.
him. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I forgot his name.
But
I don't-
he is a legend. He is a legend.
Yeah.
And Laomi is the real deal.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Megan the Stallion is fabulous. Jamila, I enjoy her on The Good Place. I've never seen the other queen before, the shady one, but I'm enjoying her shadiness.
The long hair.
I'm enjoying her shadiness.
Yeah.
Now, Booby, please continue. I interrupted. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. Not at all. Where's the arms? Vogue has become all femme queen performance, and Vogue, when we grew up doing it, it was the intricacies of arms control and making illusions of to the beat of music of
Model
losing body
poses.
model poses and stuff, and now it's all femme performance and
It was about
and
the transitions.
and shablams.
It was about the transitions and the intricacy of the arm movement.
How many episodes
as
have you
well
guys
as-
seen?
As well as
First
the
2.
floor work.
So, Booby, you
Yeah.
saw the second one with hair,
Yes.
with the hair performance.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
It
Bam!
sure is.
I just happen to have that sitting around.
Yeah, it's
I
one of the
also-
birds from the back.
I also feel yes. Like in the last episode of Fire Chakotay.
Talk about a downy woodpecker.
Now I will definitely watch both. Michael sent me both episodes.
Yeah.
And I will watch them. I have yet to watch them as I have been in the midst of some stuff. But I do back Booby up in saying that when we were up and coming in the ballroom, voguing was so our category was arms control, or the blanket statement was performance, and it was not hitting the floor. It was the intricacy and the transitions in the arm movement. It was playing the music with your body. Yes. And that's what we considered Vogue.
Vogue.
Now, there was a separate category, femme performance,
Right.
which was very, very similar, which had the shablams and the it's not shablams, actually. It's a 6 o'clock or a death drop or but I'm fine with
Shaburns.
shaburns. Honey, you could get a shaburn if you hit the floor too hard. And that existed, but now it has taken over voguing. And listen, Laomi is incredible, and these children that do it are incredible. But it's not the type of voguing that I did, and it's not the type of voguing that I loved. But it's still beautiful and amazing. It's just not what I consider to be the greatest.
I get bored real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick because it's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
honey,
I mean, how long can you do that before to the beat of the music? And I mean,
and you feel that the judges are fake.
No. I mean, the judges are judging when that's all that you judge. You know, it's like, okay, then you get into the details of, you know, it's like I don't blame the judges. I blame just the dance itself.
I mean, me and Boo would stand in front of a mirror for hours because you had to have tricks and moves for hours, because you would, when you got to the club, you would dance all night. Like, you had to have a coterie of tricks and movements, and, you know, even a little bit, and, you know, and also I think it feels like now, like, if you do not do floor, you're not considered, it's just not considered very good. It's not considered fierce. And me and Boo very rarely hit the floor. Like, I'd hit the floor for a second.
Girl, Matinga, I can remember, and I hate to start sayings with I remember, I'll be at the club talking to somebody, maybe Miss Booby, talking to Matinga. 2 seconds later, Matinga's doing fucking somersaults in the air and she's flipping around halfway across the club. So, girl, like, it was amazing. Like, what you, so I can, but I consider that kind of floor work. Like, literally, viewers, you'd be talking to Matinga, you'd blink your eye, and 3 seconds later, she's somersaulting away from you across the floor to the beat of the music, and the crowd would just part.
Yeah.
Props to you, girl. It was spectacular.
Thank you, baby.
It was always serving, always fierce. And Miss Booby, you were there.
Well, always serving, always fierce.
Miss Booby was there too.
Yeah. But I would say that floor was not not my forte. Like, me and Booby, we did arms control. We called it arms control, but the blanket statement for it would be performance. Now, performance is femme performance.
But in fairness, and then I want to get back to what we actually think of the show, because I find it very silly and entertaining. In fairness, when you guys were coming up as Voguers, that was called New Way, and you supplanted what was called Old Way.
Now, what we do
is
the old way,
and whatever it is the kids are doing now is New Way. So it isn't, you know, it's the evolution of this art form. It's the evolution of this dance style.
Yeah.
And I mean, I also prefer what you guys did, you know, and viewers, I was not a Voguer. I think I was a heavy smoker. I just couldn't handle it.
You would just stand there and start to smoke.
Do you know?
Just come out of you.
Remember Ms. Revlon? She would smoke while voguing, and she would do that move. She would take it out of her mouth like that. Oh my God!
It was fabulous. To the beat of the music.
To the beat, darling.
One of the reasons I started to Vogue was because I was at a club called Mars on Gay Pride Day.
Yeah.
And we were kikiing. It was a legendary night. But at one point,
RuPaul was there.
RuPaul was
high
there.
Lady off her Bunny ass, was there. And yes, I'll say
it. Yes. And you know, we had I think it was Connie up on the.
Everybody say frack.
Everybody say frack. And I think it was no, it was
Dinah Cancer.
It was Dinah Cancer on the roof spinning. It was absolutely incredible.
And I hooked up with a hot guy named Jeffrey. He was a lawyer, and later on he gave me crabs, but not that night.
But I needed some air, you know, because we were very, very young, and I had partaken in some stuff, and I was feeling fabulous, but I needed to step away and just get some air. So I went downstairs away from everybody and went down. I was about to walk out of the club just to get some air and come back. But I walked downstairs to the dance floor, and a man I didn't know at the time was on a like a go-go box.
Yes.
And he was doing this dance that I had never ever seen before, that I didn't even know what it was called. He did his cigarette trick. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen.
And we used to call her the White Voguer.
We used to call her the White Voguer.
Yeah.
That White Voguer, because there was no kids out there that were white and voguing. And she had her own style. It was kind of mechanical and very precise. And I stood there for about 45 minutes. It took my breath away. And I started voguing the next day.
Dun, 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 dun. Can I get a witness?
And also... also that song by Queen Latifah, Give Me Body.
Come on, come
on. Don't make me wait.
So good. That was like the big songs.
You know, I did notice on Legendary that they were playing some kind of remix of Follow Me.
Follow me,
Yes.
follow me.
Like a different version of that. But I'm like, okay, so they're like bringing the classics back around.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a silly, listen, they're once again commodifying ballroom culture. But at least this time someone's going to get $100,000.
Get into Pose.
I love
You know,
Pose. I love
It makes Legendary look silly.
I just,
Yeah.
you know, with Ryan Murphy, you
It's
know,
a hit or
listen,
miss for you, or you just
I can only
it's a miss.
I can only deal with so much.
But it hits for you sometimes.
Ryan
like with-
Murphy?
yeah.
Yeah. I watched the first episode of Pose, and when I saw that the lettering they used was exactly the font that they used in Paris is Burning, I was like, you a motherfucking thief. You co-opting some shit. I mean, you may be a fine person, but I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm not for the rehash, bitch. I saw Paris is Burning. I'm
and
good.
Honey,
Oh,
we
look
saw
at the
Paris is
river.
burning. Honey, we were there for Paris is burning. So I can actually hear, he didn't let his face appear, but I hear David Ian, his voice more than once. And because he was not only one of the greatest
Paris is Burning?
MCs, yeah.
He's in it
Mhm.
too. I've
You
seen
only
him.
hear his
You do see his
voice.
face.
No,
I
go
can
back.
guarantee you see his face.
So, try and find
There's a scene where he's going like this with Danny. He's being pissed off at one of the scenes in the ballroom.
It must be just a split second because I
It's
only
a split
remember hearing his
second.
voice.
It really is.
Yeah, because he actually told me
He's wearing glasses in the scene.
Because he actually told me he told Jenny Livingston, "Do not show my face,"
Wow.
because he didn't want his mom to see it at the time.
Right.
I mean, and of course later, of course, it didn't matter to him. But he was one of the great MCs. They do use the font for that particular episode,
And they
but then they
also
move on.
Yeah, but
then
they
move
also
on.
steal the story of Dorian Corey and the drag queen had a mummy in her closet. You know, like,
Yeah, but you know,
come
CSI co-ops the news headlines all the time.
there are murders
That is
every day. How often
something-
do
yeah.
drag queens have corpses in the closet? What, 3-4 times a year? Beyond that,
Girl,
all
who
right.
listen, who knows?
Who knows, girl?
I've got Stiffy in the closet right now.
Stiffy red
but,
bump for your nerves.
I haven't seen Legendary yet,
Legendary?
but I got the first 2 episodes, and
It's
I
fun.
will be watching. I will
It's
be
Fun.
watching.
It's, you know, it's cute. It's fun. I enjoy it. I like hearing the music. I like watching these kids. I think the little interstitials where they're talking about their backgrounds and their sad stories actually moving. Like a couple of them, I was like, oh, I feel for this person. And you know, I'm not a feeling person.
Right.
So, you know, so to answer your question, Rhett, Booby and I have seen 2 episodes. Booby's not so into it. I think it's silly, but very entertaining. And Matinga will report back next week
Yes, ma'am.
with her opinion in the ballroom.
I want to see some face.
I have another question, a quick question. From me, not a patron or a viewer, me, the rocks, give up the box.
The box.
So you can brag about it while I darn my socks. If you won $1 billion in the lottery, what would you do with it?
$1 billion.
Who are you asking?
Both of y'all.
I would definitely open up an animal sanctuary
Yep.
somewhere like in Texas or New Mexico where you can get a lot more bang for your buck.
Tiger Booby.
I want to say
Tiger. Yeah.
shout out to our viewer, Robina, who we've mentioned before. She's also an animal lover, and she loves that we are also animal lovers.
Oh, fabulous.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you, Robina. And
Rabina, you
on.
better work.
you better work with that animal
Absolutely.
love. We're all about
And
that.
she's been a fan for a while. So-
Yes. And also, I want to give a shout out to Bernadette. We
Miss
have some like
Bernadette.
really dedicated viewers, and I
Miss
just want to say
Michael
I
McCormick.
appreciate it.
Fran, Frey.
Yeah.
Frey.
Frank Frey? Frank McCormick,
Frank
Frank
McCormick.
McCormick.
that hag.
No, not her. There's a woman. I mean, thank you, Frank
Yeah,
McCormick.
no, thank you,
Is she a
Frank.
woman?
No, not her. No, a woman named. Her last name is Frey.
Not Dixie Ray.
Dixie Ray.
Dixie Ray.
Isn't there a Thomas Knight?
Yes, Thomas Knight. Dixie Ray with her sassy comments, girl.
Yes.
Love my Dixie Ray.
I love our viewers, and I
Yes.
love when they engage with us. So please continue that.
And also Michael Womack, Leo, and Cooper.
Leo and Cooper of the Wheels on Fire podcast.
Of the Wheels on Fire podcast that we also
which
love.
I heard. I listened to the first episode.
And it's
loved it.
hilarious.
Loved it.
hilarious. They're so talented. I love them. And those
They're
three
great.
guys, Michael, Leo, and Cooper, they have become my children. They are my daughters. Like we actually have met up and become friends. And Homework brought those people into my lives, and that's one of the most beautiful things.
Yes, I do love our viewers. I wish that this pandemic wasn't happening for many, 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 many reasons, but also because I really wanted to do like a live homework. Matinga, you and I had discussed it last
Yeah.
year. I was trying to make it happen at a joint in
At $2
Brooklyn.
bill, yeah,
$3 bill. But we're
$3
so
bill.
chintzy. It would have been $2 bill.
That night, that one
So
night.
we were kind of working on making like a live thing happen, and
Doing a live thing, yeah.
maybe we can do a live stream.
Yeah.
I'm down
think
for
that
a
would be
live
lovely.
stream. Viewers, if any of you have like technical prowess, chime in, slide into my DMs, because my technical skills they're kind of at the limit of where they're at now. Booby, you would do an animal shelter. Thumbs up. $1 billion Matinga, what you gonna do?
You remember $1 billion would turn into 500 million right off the top in taxes. But still, it's such an astronomical amount of money, and it's such a huge responsibility. When you become that rich out of nowhere, like that kind of money could destroy your life too.
So basically what you're saying is you'd get them titties, girl.
I would get them titties. We'd audition for Rue. We'd see what was going on.
I'd have the bitch killed.
And I'd buy my mom a house, and I travel, basically you could do whatever you
want. Go
like
back to
with
school.
that kind of money, yeah. But like a house for me, a house for my sister, a house for my mother. Like,
Well, we don't exist.
Grab my queens. I was about to say, grab my queens, go on a trip around the world.
I didn't say I wanted a trip, but I'll take that house, girl.
I'll take the trip.
I'll buy you a motorhome, like a Winnebago.
Honeybee, step up from what I got now. Oh, I'll say this. If I won that $1 billion, the first thing I would do, I would buy Miss Carmina a house to get her the hell away from you, Matinga, because you're a bad influence.
Trust.
I would throw a lot of money at Miss Booby for her animal sanctuary.
Hells
that
yeah.
she could start. And then I would buy myself a little island in the Mediterranean, okay? And it would be sizable. Like it would have microclimates. Like I'd be in my big old beautiful house on top of the mountain where it's cooler, but then I could have my lush tropical plantings. I would also have an army of self-replicating robot slaves. And let me tell you why.
That were sexually compatible.
With each other, not with me. I ain't doing them. This is what I would use them for. And they have to be self-replicating because if they break down, I'm not an engineer. I can't fix things, okay?
You're not Balana.
I'm not Balana, darling.
I want to see some face.
So they could just replicate more of themselves. Now, I would have the robots know how to fly a helicopter to import me things like food and drugs and hookers, hot male hookers. And I would get the hookers or escorts, excuse me, I'm sorry. I would get the sex workers fucked up on their drugs, bitch. And then after I had my nasty way with them, I would have the robots kill them and bury them in the garden because hookers make good compost.
Fertilizer.
I'm sorry, sex workers.
But first, toss them off the cliff just for fun.
About Miracle Grow. Yeah. So that's what I would do.
More like your miracle hoe.
My miracle hoe,
The
bitch.
one that survives.
NPK, darling. That's a horticultural term. But moving on from all of that ephemera, I want to get to the true topic of this edition of Homework Homeschooled, which is, of course, the Lifetime television movie My Breast, starring Meredith Baxter Birney.
My breath?
Breath? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
My breast.
Oh, okay. Because I thought, is it about
Thank you,
a woman with
Catherine
the worst
Janeway.
breath ever?
Chakotay, I want you to touch my breast.
Touch my breath.
That isn't the topic today. That is not the topic.
Oh, okay.
That is not the topic. There is another topic.
Today, it was Booby's choice.
It's Booby's choice. Yes. So Booby, why don't you
The
tell me?
topic was the different places that we've lived in our lives and little stories behind some of the events that happened while we were at these places.
Okay. You kick it off, bitch.
Ooh. Well, I've only lived in New York and Miami and now St. Petersburg.
Right.
Okay.
But you lived in different places in Miami.
Right. I lived in Miami and in South Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
You never lived in Lauderdale.
Never lived in Lauderdale.
Does
Been
anyone
there.
truly live in Lauderdale? Come on, that place
The
sucks
Golden
ass.
Girls,
Who
weren't they
admits
in
to it?
Lauderdale?
No, honey, Golden Girls
No,
was
they were in
Miami.
Oh,
Miami.
Miami.
M-I-double-M-I. That's not how it goes. What's that song?
M-I. Oh, look at there's a dog over there.
Oh, that's Fawn.
Oh,
Fawn's-
she's,
Come here, Fawn. Come here, Fawn. I'm just out in nature. Come here, Fawn. Come here, little girl. Come here.
she
Come
looks
here.
like a
Oh,
fox.
come here, little sweetie. Come up.
Oh, yes.
This is Fawn. Fawn's
Oh,
on
my goodness.
camera.
Oh, look at her.
Isn't she cute?
Oh,
Isn't she
the
the
Giving you
yumminess.
kisses.
Fawn is delicious. She's
Oh, my
delicious.
goodness.
Run free, darling.
Run free, Fawn.
So places that we've lived, Booby, you've basically been in New York and Florida.
Right.
You've been in
Matinga?
Florida
have-
longer
do
than
you
you've been in
guys-
New York.
At this point, yeah.
And all of us have lived together. Not me and Booby. We never lived together, but Booby's lived with you. You lived with me.
I lived with Booby.
You've lived with Booby.
I lived with Booby in Miami twice.
So,
That's
but
right.
What about any stories about Marpesas?
Okay, so I don't know.
That's
that we
when
wanna-
you and Booby lived together. You could
Well, I'll bleep out her name, but let's just say this. At one time, Booby and I, well, first it was me, Booby, and Rob, sublet an apartment in the East Village.
not my
And
Rob,
Mizell,
Rob Vasilarakis.
right, who's, I don't know if we can use his name, but so me and Booby, no, Booby and I and Rob V and Mizell were subletting a 2-bedroom apartment in the East Village way back in the day. And Mizell and I went, this woman worked at the Village Voice. She worked at the Village Voice, and Mizell and I went to drop off the
That's right.
security deposit. This bitch should have known we were trouble when we paid part of the security deposit in change. And I just
Did
remember,
you really do that?
yes, girl. And we
How
were at
much change?
a big jar. I mean, we had some of it in bills, but then we like pour the change out on her desk. And at one point she's going through and she goes, oh, look, a whole quarter. But you the dumb bitch that went through with it, darling. So yes,
Darling.
we did
Girls,
live there.
You didn't think of beforehand, just like, tubing it up and taking it to a bank and turning it into money?
We were young and thin.
We were young
were-
and so thin.
And so thin. Like, because y'all were hungry. Like, we were hungry.
Hungry.
That's
Yeah.
why we were thin.
That's
Yeah.
why we were thin.
Yeah.
That's when I was a cigarette boy at Roxy back in that time period.
That's right.
So first it was
Yes.
Booby and I and Mizell and Rob. And then eventually Ricky and Todd and Craig.
Yes.
And like suddenly there's like 11 people living in this little apartment on
Tiny little
Avenue
house.
C. Right? That's
Ricky
when
and
you were dating
Todd
that's
and
when you were
Craig.
dating Bam
Bam
Bam.
Bam.
Bam Bam. You know,
And
my
then
boyfriend
that's
Bam
right.
Bam.
And that's when we came across Creature as well.
And that's when Creature popped up. Yes.
So,
Creature.
quick little story about Creature.
And you know who else lived in that building?
Yeah,
Randy and Fenton, World of Wonder, lived upstairs.
that's right.
Yes, they did.
That's right upstairs.
Yep.
But a little story, because this is kind of a story about where I didn't live there, but you guys lived there, and I was there.
Because
all
you
the
and I
time.
weren't talking at that point.
No,
We had just lived together and had a big fight.
Right. But then eventually, you
were there,
you started talking again.
Your mother
After-
called me, threatened me about a microwave.
That's right. After I went to a party. Okay. After I went to, I think it was Love Machine. It was probably Love Machine, and we went to the club that night, and I was like all fucked up, and I came across you guys, and none of my friends spoke to me, and I danced up to Booby on the dance floor, and Booby turned around and said to me, "Baby, I can't talk to you. Miss Chicle will kill me." I was like whatever.
Oh my
Whatever.
God.
You've made your choice.
That was
And I
the night. That's
Yeah.
true. And someone set off an M80 that night in the club.
Yeah, and I was on 4 hits of E, so I was rolling so hard. I was like,
All
fuck
right.
these queens. I'm a legend in the ballroom. Fuck these queens.
Wow.
Miss Chiclet destroyed all my posters.
I didn't destroy all of them.
It was-
When
it
we
was
lived together,
ugliness.
when we lived together, girl, every time I would
Ugliness.
leave the house, you would unplug the answering machine so I couldn't get my messages, and don't deny it. You did.
It's yeah.
I'll
She
cop to
Hey,
what I did. Remember your
Miss-
keys?
Miss Chicle would hide my
By the way,
keys.
Stop calling
What?
me Chicle.
Sorry. Michael would hide my keys. And he'd have them like in a jar of cream. He'd be putting cream on his face, and I'd be like, check behind the couch. Maybe they're behind the couch, girl.
You
Who
know
knows
what, girl?
where
Maybe they went behind the refrigerator just to
Girl,
watch you move the
She
refrigerator.
would scratch my records. She's a bitch.
Only
Oh my
one.
God.
I only
Bitch.
scratched the Lisa Stansfield record, and really, who needs it?
Which
It was
one
my
was
favorite
that?
song.
Been
It was
around the world,
Been Around the
yeah,
World,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the dance mix,
Which
and
is,
I
I
loved
think,
it.
also the name of this episode. Been around the world, and I.
So, but we're friends, and actually, I went to a party and for Gay Lesbian Youth of New York, and literally everyone took me out onto the fire escape and was like, "Listen, you and Michael got to talk. You guys have to figure this out." And meanwhile, I'm like, why do I have to be the bigger person?
At the
Fuck
Columbia
that.
dance?
No, it was at a party that a Glenny person threw where Andrew Martin did a performance.
Where we've told her it was cocaine, but it was fucking Sweet and Low, and she's like came out like, oh my God, that was so good. Bitch,
Different
that wasn't
party.
even real.
No,
Was it at Frank
different party.
Hearn's house?
I think it was at Frank Hearn's.
On 10th Avenue or 9th Avenue?
Yeah. And then also Misunderstood did a performance that night too at that party. And literally like Mike Cruz, Kendall Price, George took me out. They were like, listen, Michael's a mess. You've got to figure this out. I was like, send her out onto the fire escape. And we talked.
Why do I have no memory of this?
And that's when we became friends again.
Clearly we became friends again, but I don't remember that party at all.
Yep. Also, that is the party where I found out that Mike Cruz had slept with DJ.
You mean my man that you slept with?
That I also slept with, yes. But I was like, how dare she? How dare she?
How dare she, for
Honey,
real?
you had broken up, like you didn't care about that man. I sucked that dick.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the point was I already put my stank on him, girl.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
With his little
Boo? His chode.
I stabbed my thumb last night.
Stop doing that.
I know. I was baking a potato.
You know,
So,
as in any friendship,
there've been ups and downs.
of course.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the one thing that Miss Booby has ever done that's annoyed me, Miss Booby, I don't know if you still do it, but at one time you were very into tickling people.
Yes.
I really don't like that.
I haven't done that in years.
Michael,
like,
you can't take it.
I don't like being
can't
tickled.
take it. Like, because then when Booby started doing it, I started doing it. And Michael was...
I'll scream, bitch.
He'll scream. Like,
I don't like it.
You can't take it. You can't
I didn't
take
know
it.
this.
Tickling is a form of torture.
He goes crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
There is a movie about tickle torture that's quite sinister.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Oh, that thing.
That thing.
I forgot the name of it, but I will. About the guy that would do the tickle videos and like.
Yeah.
I believe that person later became known as drag performer Sherry Pie. It's really creepy.
Is that true?
No, of course not. That's not true at all.
But let's make it true.
Let's make it true. Let's make it
true.
so. Naga, please.
Yeah. Naga, please.
So other
Naga
places
was the snake in
was
Ricky
the snake.
Tikki
Yes.
Tavi.
Yes, Ricky Tikki Tavi.
But getting back elliptically to the story I was going to tell.
Yes.
Was so we had become friends again, and Booby was dating Bam Bam, this beautiful, sweet boy, and you guys had moved into this apartment into Marpessa's. You can bleep that.
No, fuck her.
So she was messed
a
up.
fucking bitch.
She sent people to beat you guys up.
Well, first of all,
she did.
God.
She had remember she turned the electricity off.
I remember
and
that.
Todd came through and paid that bill, and then she sent those Jamaican guys to the door.
Yep.
Bitch, I ain't afraid of you.
And you were like, eh.
Yeah, Todd.
Yep.
Miss Todd.
Fuck that bitch. And yo, Mizell and I were the last ones to leave. And I'll say this now. I don't care about the statute of limitations. We fucking trashed that place on the way out. I mean, like, we broke shit. There was glass everywhere. We pried the outlets out of the walls. Bitch, we were mad.
Now, mind you, we were youth. We were
I don't recommend it.
We were in probably teenagers. It was a different time. It's not something we would do
now,
mostly.
Walk out, mostly muesli, darling. So you guys, we had recently become friends again, and you guys were living at this apartment.
Oh,
I love that.
My tattoo.
You've seen the tattoo, Boo.
My tattoo.
No.
You've never seen my tattoo?
No.
Ooh.
My seahorse. This is my second tattoo. I got it 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
Work.
The week before she goes to spend 3 weeks in Hawaii.
So dumb. And then you can't have a new tattoo in the sun, and I had to like wrap a plastic bag around it.
Yeah.
To just
or
go,
you really shouldn't get it too wet in that water.
oh my God.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So I
Yes.
show up to this particular apartment. It was probably 7 a.m. or something like that. And you guys had been out partying the previous night, but for some reason, even though I was always down for the party, I didn't go out. So you guys had been out partying. I show up at the apartment, not unbeknownst. I think you guys knew I was coming over, but unbeknownst to me, you guys were sitting outside in the car with Bam Bam, tripping face. And I go upstairs because I didn't see you guys. And so I go upstairs and I knock on the door, and Rob opens up. Everyone's like laid out. The place sort of smells a little funny. I'm not gonna lie. There was an odor going
Was Chanel
on.
there?
Chanel was in the car with you guys.
Oh, okay.
As it, and I see this cute boy in the bed with Rob. And I'm like, where are the boys? They're like, oh, they're outside in the car. So I go outside. I'm like, man, the apartment smelled weird just now. That was weird. And I go downstairs. I find you guys in the car. I get into the car. The first words out of my mouth are, who's that creature upstairs? And Revlon cracks up because she was like, oh my God, we had named her creature already. Mind you, creature had pooped herself.
Oh.
And she was so fucked up, she hadn't noticed. And Rob had to be like, baby, let's go take a shower. Da 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 da. And
Creature was Rob's piece.
That she had met that night, maybe.
Right.
And she hung around for a little while. And she was actually an adorable, cute boy.
I liked Creature. He was sweet.
Yeah.
But from that moment forward, he was Creature.
Yeah.
And
that's what we called him.
Creature Lust.
It was Creature Lust, darling. And,
yeah, that was a pretty scandalous night.
That was a scandalous night. And then from that moment, that day continued, but it's not an apartment story. But we drove around town. We hung out on the piers. We did mescaline, not crystal. We never did.
No, hell no.
But we
you know
did mescaline.
What? We had a party in that apartment.
Yes, right before going to Roxy.
Right before. Miss Thing, we made flyers, and I have one. And there's a picture of like some black cheerleaders that are supposed to represent you and me and Mizell or something. I have this flyer.
Oh
I don't know how. I have it. I'm going to try and scan it in. Yes.
That would be fabulous.
And remember, there was a fire across the street, and Miss Brenda ran out.
No,
actually,
Bam Bam did. It was Bam Bam.
It was Bam Bam.
With a bunch of squatters in the building.
Ran out and literally put people on his shoulders and saved people. One of the women was a naked woman, and like her cooch was on his head.
Oh my God. I don't remember this.
And he got her down. He saved people's lives.
Word.
Oh, go Bam Bam.
Go Bam Bam. You should have been mine, Bam Bam.
You should have been mine, Bam Bam.
No, you should have been mine, Bam Bam. They call me Fruity Pebbles.
You know what was happening is that the two of you were like so in the midst that I was like, how can I admit to these two that I think he's fucking adorable?
He was adorable. He was adorable. But you know what else about that joint? Were you guys there? This one time we had been, I don't want to like glamorize drug use, but we had been partying all night and carrying on. And in the morning, these two women on like Avenue D, these two Latina women got into a fight, and one had a piece of wood with a nail in it, and the other one had a metal garbage can lid, and they were fighting over a man.
Oh, I remember this.
Oh, child.
I don't remember a lot.
Exactly.
Now, you sure those two women weren't Chanel and Revlon?
It could have been.
Or Mizell and you?
Yeah.
It could have been. I know Mizell will remember. We have to get Mizell on here.
Yeah, we do.
We really do.
Must.
So that was one of the legendary status places.
Yes.
That we have all been at. Booby, do you remember living with, and I'll bleep out the name, on 10th Street?
Oh.
And I picked up a dude at Tunnel Bar and brought him home, and he wanted me to give him a massage. So it was Booby and me and roommate. And so I'm like kind of giving him a massage. And he said he was like a trainer for baseball and this and another. And he said, yo, I'm really thirsty. Can I get a glass of water? I said, okay. I go to get him a beverage. As soon as I come back, suddenly he's got to leave. All right, that's weird, but all right. In the morning,
He
turns
stole my
out,
jacket.
no, bitch. He robbed the fucking guy whose apartment it was. He robbed his roommate, took his wallet.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure he stole my denim jacket too.
I don't remember denim jacket. I
I
remember him stealing the wallet of
my
the
denim
roommate.
jacket got taken.
Tall, thin roommate.
Oh, very tall, a hairstylist.
Yes.
And then he was like, y'all got to go. So speaking of places in the world, a dedicated viewer named Sociopath had sent me a message via, what you laughing at, how?
I love that name.
Sociopath.
Sociopath.
As she's a hardcore fan. She sent us some topic suggestions: gay travel, traveling to destinations in general, vacations or for work. Where have you been to? Favorite destination you've been to and or never been to but desperately want to go. Mahalo, bitches. And then signs it, Aloha Nui Sociopath. P.S. I went barefoot into a local store today. Ha.
She sounds like a real titta girl.
She's a real titta. She's a real titta Nui.
She's a titta, yeah.
So we've covered like gay travel destinations in a previous episode.
Real quick, we're done with little stories from places we've lived?
Unless you got a real juicy one.
Or we could just pick it up because there's there's some stories.
You have a juicy one in mind?
I mean, I've got several.
But I think it has to be relevant to like, this is a place we lived and this is what happened because we lived there.
Like, did you have any LA stories, Matinga?
Let's see. Like really good LA stories. Like doing too many poppers and passing out at what's that taco place?
El Pollo Loco.
At El Pollo
There's a cat behind you now.
There's a cat behind you.
That's Bruno. Honey, I'm in nature, honey. There's animals
That's
everywhere.
fabulous.
Okay, so Sociopath, thank you for that thought-provoking question.
She looked bad!
Viewers, we'd like to know what have been your travel experiences and bucket list destinations. Isn't that right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
More enthusiasm.
Yes.
Yes. Viewers, if you are into the content that we are putting out there, and we know that you are, feel free to hit us up on Patreon or Venmo. We are Workshop, WERQ SHOP.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and also hit that bell icon so you are informed every time we release new material.
Yes, absolutely. And also feel free to leave us your comments and your viewer suggestions for future topics.
Exactly.
Any closing thoughts on this really freewheeling, free-balling episode of Homeschooled?
I am
Homeswirl.
Homeswirl.
It's strange that you mentioned free balling because
I kind of like Homeswirl.
I'm full on Porky Pig in it. I am not wearing bottoms.
That's called Porky Pig in it?
Yeah,
that's like the cartoon.
Yeah, I'm full on Porky Pig in it at the moment.
Are you naked from the waist down?
Yep.
But are you prairie dogging?
And what is prairie dogging?
That means when you gotta take a crap and it keeps on coming out and going back in because you really can't hold it to it.
Oh no, I don't have a chocolate turtle coming out. Not quite just
That's what I mean.
I'm trying to keep this like a classy production.
But what's messed up is that I have the 2 leather seats from my Barcelona chair on the bed.
Barcelona?
My Barcelona chair. So my ass is sweating on these chairs. I'm literally going to be like...
So you're Porky Pig in it. Do you have like a little swirly tail coming out?
If I wish hard enough, maybe.
Anything can happen. That's
and
the magic
push hard enough.
That's the magic of Disney. That's the magic of Disney.
Thank you for watching another episode of Homeschooled. And this is Booby.
And this is Mike Diamond.
This is Miss Matinga.
You've been learned.